Hi, I'm Dee Braaksma, and I work at the Cedar Valley Children's Center, and I'm going to be reading Lazybugs today. It's written by Dee Braaksma, that's me, and illustrated by Elisa Melville. And if you would like a copy of this book, I will be selling them. You can email me, and all proceeds of this book will be going to the home in Thailand that I can't pronounce. But the home in Thailand that's for rescued women from trafficking by Seeds of Hope. So if you're interested in this book, send me an email. Hi, this is Lazybugs by Dee Braaksma. That's me, and it's illustrated by Elisa Melville. Lazybugs. Now in this story you're going to hear, if you're 3 years old, you're going to hear about lavender and bee balm blossom. This is lavender, it's a flower, and so is bee balm blossom. It's just a flower. And if you're 6, you're going to hear some letters that are said over and over. See if you can hear what those letters are. Okay. Lisa and Larry Ladybug lazed in the lavender, lunching on nectar and aphids. Lisa wiped the nectar from her chin. Hello, Betty Bee. Would you like to share my nectar tea? Balancing on a bee balm blossom, Betty sang as she filled her pollen baskets. Bzz, bzz, I'll sing my song. Bzz, bzz, all day long. Bzz, bzz, come work with me. Everybody likes honey. Come on, girls, Betty said to her sister. There's more nectar in the lavender. Yoo-hoo! Hi, Betty. I like your song. Betty ignored her again, collected some pollen, and started singing. Bzz, bzz, let's get haulin'. Bzz, bzz, lots of pollen. Bzz, bzz, nectar too. It's good for me and good for you. Yes, it is, said Larry, as he dipped an aphid in the nectar and popped it into his mouth. Betty scowled at Larry. I don't see you haulin' pollen. We've no need to, said Larry. Our little larvae hatch right here where there's plenty of food. Come, join our fun. Betty buzzed grumpily. Bzz, bzz, no time for fun. Bzz, bzz, till work is done. Bzz, bzz, we can't be late. Now's the time to pollinate. Betty stopped. Why don't you help? All you do is eat, 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 while we work, work, work. Betty stomped her foot. We bees do everything in this garden. If you won't help, you should go find your own garden. She yelled to her sisters, back to the hive to unload. People depend on us. Let's not be lazybugs. Oh dear, cried Lisa. I don't know how to make honey, and I don't think I could fly and carry pollen at the same time. Betty is right. We don't help. Maybe we should find our own garden. Nonsense, said Larry. There's enough food in this garden. Betty should learn to share. She doesn't want me here, Lisa said. She thinks I'm lazy. I can't live here anymore. Now Larry was sad too. It's okay, Lisa. Let's go find a different garden. Lisa and Larry flew and flew, but they couldn't find a pretty garden. They saw beaches, benches, buildings, and balloons, but no nice gardens. They did not give up. They saw playgrounds, parking lots, picnics, and pools, but no gardens. They were exhausted, but they kept flying. They saw railways, rivers, roads, and rain, but no pretty gardens. And it was dark. They were tired, hungry, cold, sad, and wet. They landed in an ugly garden. The leaves were brown and yellow and dry. The rosebuds were shriveled up. There were hardly any flowers. A big tear rolled down Lisa's face. This is not a pretty garden, she said. Everything will look better in the morning, said Larry. Nothing looked better in the morning, but the garden was covered in aphids and whiteflies. So Lisa and Larry stayed and did what they did best. They ate. Lisa laid some eggs underneath a leaf, and soon their little larvae crawled out and started eating too. The garden wasn't pretty, but it had what they needed for a home. As spring turned into summer, there was a surprise. The leaves turned lush and green. The roses were big and beautiful. Colorful flowers bloomed everywhere. The garden was gorgeous. Bzz, bzz. Wow, what a magnificent garden, said Betty Bee. Lisa, Larry, I finally found you. I've been looking everywhere. You were? They asked. Yes, I'm so sorry for saying unkind words to you. Will you forgive me? It's okay, Betty. You were right. We just aren't good at helping, said Lisa sadly. No, I was wrong. You were kind, friendly, and super helpful. After you left, no one ate the aphids. They're everywhere, on every flower, hundreds of them. The leaves curled and turned yellow and brown. The roses didn't open. Now there's no nectar or pollen. We need you. You made our garden beautiful. Bzz, bzz, please go munch. Bzz, bzz, eat your lunch. Bzz, bzz, we'd be blessed if you'd come and be our guest. Larry licked his lips, then said, Come on, kids, let's do what we were made to do. Our neighbors need help. Ladybugs to the rescue, said Lisa. Larry, Lisa, and some of the little ladybugs launched into the air, eager to lunch with Betty. The others stayed and happily did what they were made to do. They ate. God saw all that he had made, and it was very, very good. Genesis 1:31. And on these pages, you will see Betty when she was only a couple days old, and then she got bigger and turned into a larva, which is looks like a little white caterpillar all curled up in her little wax cell. And then after the worker bees cover that cell up, well, first they feed it, and then they cover the cell up, and then 21 days later, out comes Betty Bee. And this is Lisa's life cycle. When Lisa was born, she was a little tiny orange egg hanging on the underside of a leaf with lots of other little eggs. And then she hatched into a larvae. Now you probably saw those in your garden, but maybe you didn't know that they were a ladybug larvae. And then she attached herself to a leaf and she turned into a pupa. And there she is right there on a leaf covered with aphids. And then she turns into a ladybug. Some ladybugs have lots of spots and some don't have hardly any. So, can you look at these pictures and figure out which one is the honeybee? There's a lot that look like honeybees on this picture, but they're not all honeybees. There's only one. And here we have lots of information about bees. And if you want to take a look, even on this page back here, right here, there are a whole bunch of ladybugs hiding on this picture. So that's the end of the Ladybugs book.